Oh, good. You're here. I'm so happy. We're gonna talk about some very heavy mathematics today, and I was brought in by Mr. Recursor to explain it a little more succinctly, if you will. Let's get started. I want to show you a graph of these functions we're going to be doing today. So much fun.
Hey, wait. You're here. Get out of the way. Just let me.
No, but you said I could explain.
No, but you're not. Just go work a math problem or something. Let me handle this. I'm sorry about that. I'm really sorry. This stuff isn't really that difficult, is it?
Oh, it is It's very difficult. Only
Just hey. Listen, I'm not going to have you come back. Shh. Quiet.
But
No. Shh. Let me finish. I'm recording here. I'm sorry, people. Forgive me for that. Listen, I want to finish this up today. Well, not exactly. We're going to get these InOuts. So the quadratic InOut, the cubic InOut, the quartic InOut, and the quint InOut. And remember, these are just powers, right? That's all it is. So we're making these curves a little more and a little less, or a little more or a little less steep. So you can see right here I have a nice plot of these InOut functions. I've got a quad. The quad in and out is this little guy, and you can see how as the power increases of the particular one, that's squared, and then this is cubed, and so you can see the cubic one, he starts out and he's a little steeper, and then the quartic starts out a little steeper, and then the quint starts out even steeper. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to fix all of that, and we're going to actually fix this one, which, as I said here, it isn't a quadratic function, but it does have the same shape. Now, I will say there are some libraries out there, and including one on the Love2D wiki, which I haven't really looked into, but you can go look at it. It's under the wiki libraries category. You can switch by keyword here, and you can search for tween, I believe, and there are a couple of tween libraries. And anyway, there are some that do it certain ways, and you can see I've been doing a lot of fiddling around with mathematical equations and graphs and all sorts of things. As a matter of fact, that graph that you saw just a minute ago is one that I did in a program called Octave. Great fun if you like math, and I do like math.
now so do I.
Hey, quiet. Anyway, let's go ahead and fix this one, because as I said, this isn't exactly a quadratic function, but we want to go ahead and let's be legal about it. But again, tweens are an artistic expression of one's further intent, if you will. You know, it must look nice and it must feel good to the eyes. That's what a tween is all about. So with that in mind, let's see what we can do for the quadratic in and out. Now, if you look at my plot here, you will see the quadratic is a nice shape of this nature. And I suppose I won't bore you with the mathematics.
Oh, but I could.
No, don't. But I'll just sort of add these in. So with these in-outs, we're kind of going to piece these together. So we'll have if statements like this. So this is the pattern that it's going to be for all of these in-out functions. So if the ratio is less than 0.5, so if the ratio is less than half, then we're going to do one piece of the curve. And then otherwise, we're going to do another piece of the curve, and that's what the in-out is going to look like. So we'll have a piece here, and then we'll have a piece here. And really what should happen, and what you try to do, and what I did, is you go through and you grab the in for this piece that's less than a half, and you use that. But you have to squash it so that it works. and it's kind of hard to explain. But anyway, it has to be scaled and translated and whatnot, especially that second piece. The second piece is more difficult. But it turns out that this one just ends up being 2 times that math. Well, we don't have to do math. We can just do power of the ratio squared. So that is what you get for that first half of the quadratic InOut easing function. And that will give us, and I must refer to my graph.
Yes, do refer to the graph. It's fantastic.
Yeah, anyway, this piece here until our x gets to a half. And notice that all of these converge at a half, at 0.5, 0.5. So when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, then y is 1. And then when x is a half, we have basically said when x is half, then y is going to pretty much be a half. And some of these that I've come up with, these midpoints are what you might call a bit maybe inaccurate, I suppose, but they're working all right, and we may come back and change them later. But you'll see what I mean. There's a few wonky numbers that I have in there, but anyway, in knowing the condition for 0 and the condition for 0.5, you can come up with an equation that makes these things happen. And for the quadratic, it's not too bad. But then when we get to the second part, we have something that looks like this, which again, we have to translate this so that this little piece that normally happens at the beginning happens after the ratio is 0.5. So it basically needs to start after that. So that looks like this. And again, we could go through this if you're interested, but I kind of doubt that you guys really care a whole lot about it. But in any case, we're just gonna rush through it. And I'm gonna let's do this real quick. Let's make a template. It's less than 0.5 like we had just a second ago, which I already just filled in. That's an else. And I'm gonna grab this, copy it, and then we'll get rid of these. And then I want to comment all these out so that we don't have to shift through them. Let's shift through our tweens and find that quadratic InOut, and let's see what it looks like. It should be, yeah, nice and smooth. I think that looks pretty good, and that, according to my calculations,
I love calculations.
Yes, according to my calculations, that should be this quadratic curve right here. So on to the cubic curve, and we'll go ahead and comment out the cubic items, and I'll go ahead and paste this little template in. And we're going to do the very similar thing here. You'll notice that these are all very similar. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take this and we'll paste it in, but we're going to double this number here, and then we will raise this to the power of 3, and that gives us what we need. Again, the very first pieces are very simple, but it turns out again that the ones where you have to translate as well as sort of scale are a little more difficult. And as I said, I've spent far too much time playing around with the math and figuring it out, and I figured that you guys wouldn't want to see that, so we're just gonna pop them in here and check them out, test them out. And then we may do a tween or two with the math here in a minute. And it said that I have oh, I know what it is right here. I messed up my template, didn't I? So let's check this one out, and we'll go to cubic InOut, and yes, see how nice and smooth that is at the very ends of the tween. It's so wonderful. I like to do it. It feels good. I could do this all day, guys. I could do it all day. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this, and we'll use that for our quadratic in and out. And again, you'll see the same kind of thing. I'm going to double this, or basically this ends up being 2 raised to whatever power minus 1. So this would be, since this is the quartic, it's going to be to the 4th power, and this will be 2 to the 4th power minus 1, which is 8. Very simple, which is good. Now here's the one that really kind of starts to get a little bit wonky, and if you look at some of the other tweening libraries, they do it a little bit differently, and maybe we'll return to this one and change it as we get better or we figure things out here. But for now, it's going to look like this. This is going to be 1 minus the ratio, 1 minus the power, or 1 minus the ratio minus, and here is this weird number, which it's not, it looks arbitrary, but it's not. Only it's not exactly exact. But basically, it's designed so that when the ratio is 0.5, and you put 0.5 here and you raise it to the 4th power, this ends up being a half, so that this will return a half in the ratio. Remember, because when I said that these curves are all crossing at a half, we want to keep that tradition, and it's a long-standing tradition. And of course, when this is 1, then you don't get exactly 1, and that's where I'm probably going to have to come back. You actually end up getting something like 1 to the, or whoops, 0.34 0.086 to the 4th power, so you end up getting something very close, because that should really end up being 0 here. So I'll probably come back and visit this one, because I don't like it. As a matter of fact, we may check on that here in a minute, because actually I was just thinking about that, just realized that's really the only one now. I've fiddled and jiggered with the other one, with the quint in and out, and it's going to be fine. Let's run that, and we'll check it out real quick when I get this all fixed. Quart in, out, and where was that error? Oh yes, of course. Syntax error 40. So I've got an extra parent. Right. I've got a couple of extra parents I don't really need. Yeah, we'll probably try to fix that. All right, let's go to quart in and out, the quad. You can see it swipes in and out a little bit faster in that middle piece. Like I said, we're going to fix that, and I may fix that in the next session, and then we'll go on to something different. But like I said, we're just going to get these in and outs in the tweens, and then we'll move on to something else, so that we don't spend too much time here working on mathematical stuff, because not everybody likes math, you know. Not everybody enjoys math like me.
Like me.
Okay, all right. Can you not just work your equations? Just sit over there and be quiet. Hey, these math people. All right, same thing here. So that's going to be 2 to the power minus 1, 2 raised to the power minus 1, which will be 16. Easy once again. And then this one, you'll see, is looks a lot cleaner than the other ones, and that's going to be this right here. And we're going to raise that to the 5th power, since this is quint. Quint. That's it. Sounds like somebody's name. If it's your name, congratulations. Quint. There it is, and you can see that works quite nicely. So really, what I should be able, and you can see this pattern here. So for the even powers, for the odd powers, you have a certain pattern. For the even powers, you have a certain pattern, because you see this is an odd. Cubic is to the 3rd power, so you see this pattern here. These are all the same actually, but then this one, you see this, right? So really, I should be able to take this and do something very similar down here. You know, and it could be as simple as taking this and just squaring these ratios. Anyway, so this will go away. I'll just tell you right now, I don't like this. So that'll go away because that's not exactly going to be, that ratio is not going to turn out to be exactly 1 whenever we get to 1. So we'll fix that, and I'll show it to you next time. How about that? Did we check the quint in and out? I don't remember. I think we did. I'm going to do it again anyway because it's fun. Quint in and out, and there you go. Okay, so we have all of the necessary pieces for these, and we have already the sign in and outs. We also have this the back out, if you remember that one, and we have a few more. So I'll say to do, create, elastic, and bounce easings. So we haven't done that yet, but we'll do it. We'll do it at some point, right? We'll get that done. Let's go and go back to the main menu scene, just for fun and enjoyment. So we'll comment this out. Let's check, and let's go into the test scene, and I don't have to require it. That's right, because we're just tweening. I don't think I have to compare. Yeah, that's right. So I can just. Okay. Let's do something interesting. So let's go to the main. No, not the main. We're going to the menu scene. The main menu scene. Let's grab this. Let's run it real quick and make sure that we're all good. Let's take this main menu and let's start it. Let's start it off the screen. See where I'm going with this? Let's start it off the screen, something like that. So now we won't see it when it comes on at first, you see. But what we can do, and I'm going to cheat again and grab our tween create. And when we come in here, we're going to say, hey, this, and let's make this, let's make it a, actually, let's make it a local menu text. So that we can manipulate it, because I like to manipulate things, don't you? As a programmer, we love to manipulate things. So that'll be this. And actually, don't these labels have, yeah, they have position. So really, I want menu text dot position, I think. And we want to take it to 0, and we'll do it to there, and we'll say tween dot let's do cubic out. Did I do that right? I want to run it. It's not going to work, is it? No. We've probably upset the balance of everything. Did we use, what was it saying that it was having trouble with? Entity Manager 23, entity add. Oh, of course, yes. We don't have this anymore. We need to, there we are. We can add that into our Entity Manager and it'll go. Yeah, there we are. And there's the main menu, and we just used a tween to push it in. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, really, it's really cool. So let's change it to 1 second, and let's see that again. Oh, I like it. I really do. And of course, we can come in later if we so desire, and we can add a callback so that when these tweens finish, we can, right here, we can say to do if a callback exists, then call it. Simple as that. So we can have callbacks. Well, we have it right here, don't we? Pardon me, people. Thank you. We'll just do it there. So we already have that there. All right. I think that's all I wanted to do today, was to get those other tweens in there and to sort of give an example of what that might look like. We could tween everything in, actually, from the top, from the bottom, and just tween all of it in, but we won't do that for now, right now. All right, that concludes this episode, and I hope you found it useful. In any case, we have some improvements that we have made to our tween library, and I will indeed fix this fellow for next time.
Yes, I can help you with that.
Yeah, you can. Just give me a second. We're almost finished. And with that, I leave you. Thank you.